started a new form of birth control recently. It's called Doctor Who. I've been on it for years and I've never had sex. I love Doctor Who. I have actually been watching it for years, and I attribute a lot of my gayness to me watching Doctor Who as I grow up. And I feel like a lot of people see that as a negative thing. They're like, we need to stop influencing our kids to be gay. I don't understand why so many people are worried about their kids ending up being gay. I feel like we expose our children to much worse things on a daily basis. Like, have you ever been to an arcade? Shit's a breeding ground for spoiled children with no concept of money. But I loved the arcade. And yeah, the arcade promotes bad things like gambling and cheating and drinking too much Coke. But I feel like it really does prepare one's child for the real world. A world that's full of gambling and cheating and doing too much Coke. Whenever I went to the arcade, I always stuck to the claw machine. So I feel like the claw machine is the only thing really worth your time there. Like, at least you could win something that was made out of paper. Sometimes they had an iPod Nano. I would fucking love an iPod. I got so good at the claw machine, I had fucking henchmen. I had two men rearing the back, one on either side. I was handling the joystick. They were shouting orders. A little to the left, now a little to the right. Now a little forward, now a little backwards. Now a little bit to the left. A little bit to the right, a little forward, a little backwards. I was spot on every time. Did y'all see that paparazzi photo of Shawn Mendes' groceries falling out of the trunk? I saw that shit everywhere for like the whole summer. That's all I saw were those photos. And they were hilarious. I did love it. For those of you who didn't see, the first photo is the groceries falling out of the trunk of Shawn Mendes' car. And of course, for some reason, they're all round groceries, so they really hit the ground rolling. Talking a real Meals on Wheels situation. So the next photo shows Shawn running after his little yams as they tumble down the slanted driveway. And it's important to note that right in front of the driveway is a gate, and right after that gate is the road. So Shawn's running after his fruits and vegetables, and there's one little apple that's really getting away from him, and he's riding its tail, and he comes so close, third picture, boom, gates close right in front of his face. The apple is now on the road by itself. I'm thinking, holy shit, what's gonna happen to this little apple? On the road all by itself. A car could come at any moment. But Shawn comes. And I'm ecstatic. He pops his head up from the little gate, he sees the little apple, and he comes scampering around the gate. He collects the apple and he walks away. And that was the top news headline all summer. I really feel like the bar for celebrity scandal has dropped way too low since OJ. That was nationally televised cancel culture. There was a trial. There were props. What do you guys think OJ says when something fits him just right? Because what else is there to say if not fits like a glove? It's like a knife in my hands? Can't say that. Can't say that. But I really do feel like celebrities have let us down in terms of scandals. I honestly think the Catholic Church has had more interesting scandals in the past decade than any celebrity. And for that reason, I don't really trust the Catholic Church. And I especially don't trust the church donation baskets. they're just gonna use that money to go buy wine. And then they're gonna give it to kids. And then they're gonna touch those kids. Somebody's fishy. Yeah, I mean, another reason I don't like the Catholic Church is because they're famously homophobic and I'm famously homo. And evidence to that, I was a costumer all 4 years of high school in the department. Thank you. And for the last 2 years of my high school career, I was the head costumer. And I made it everyone's problem. Especially the first year. The first year I took it way too seriously. I was the Gordon Ramsay of that theater department, and this production of The Wedding Singer was my kitchen nightmares. There was one person in particular, one freshman, her name was Addie. And Addie pissed me off. Addie made me angry. Addie made me very angry. And most of this anger was because she would leave her shit everywhere, or lose her shit everywhere. And specifically, she would always enter stage through the wrong door. There were two doors. There was a stage door, and there was a backstage door. And she would always run on stage through the stage door, right onto stage. In the middle of a show, she would run right onto stage every single time. And every time I told her, Addie, you have to use the other door. Addie, you have to use the other door. Eventually it got so bad that we had to put up a sign that said, wrong door, Addie. Still, she always went through the wrong door. A trait usually inhibited by men. But she was a woman. I didn't stop her. But she really pissed me off. And one day I snapped, and this is why. I found a white dress shirt, one of the white dress shirts we were using for all of the ensemble. I found it backstage, just discarded. It had no markings, it had no indication of whose it may be, but somehow, like a strung out chronic overachiever with 3 papers due, 13 hours to do, and no other option, I knew it had to be Addie. You addicted too? Yeah, you like that one? So I hunt Addie down. I know it's her shirt. I hunt her down. And I find Addie, and I say, what the fuck, Addie? This is your shirt. Why'd you leave it? She said, no, it's not my shirt. And I said, this is your shirt. She said, no, it's not. And I said, this is your shirt, and I can prove it. She says, no, you can't. And I say, put it on. She puts it on. It's like a damn knife in my throat. So I go off. I am furious, and I am making it known, and I cuss her out in front of everyone. I get real mean. So mean that a week later I find out she had to go see a guidance counselor because of what I said to her. And you made me thinking, Delaney, you sound like a horrible person. Delaney, that's so mean. Delaney, how could you do that to someone that's so much younger than you and so much more vulnerable? I do not regret it, and this is why. 1 year later, at the last cast party of the year, my last cast party ever, my senior show, Addie's a sophomore. Addie comes up to me, and she looks at me dead in the eyes, in the most endearing way ever. She says, Delaney, I want to thank you for curing my social anxiety. I say, why, Addie? You barely speak. And she said, because when you yelled at me last year, the worst had happened, and I was still alive. That's fucking crazy. But I'm a great person because of it. I really am a great person. I really have no flaws, except for one, and it's that I lied to you. In the beginning of the set, I said I've never had sex. I have. All of one time, but I have. And I lost my virginity to an Eagle Scout, which But when I tell my friends the story of how I lost my virginity, that's like not the detail that they get hung up on. The detail that they get hung up on is that I lost my virginity in Cowgirl, which like, you know, is that one. And my friends say to me, they say, Delaney, how did you lose your virginity in Cowgirl? That's such a hard position for your first time. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're like, you gotta do so many things. You gotta hold yourself up. And then on top of that, you gotta like line it up, make sure it's all correct. There's so much movement involved. You're going this way, then you're going that way, then you're going backward, then you're going forward. And I said, I know. You know what? Even without my henchmen, I was always good at the claw machine.